What is going on, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And yes, Pocket Dimension is going to start in a couple days from now. We were not prepared for this at all. We saw some data mines that it might happen. We saw the disciple tag, but we didn't get an in-game mail. We didn't get a blog post saying that Pocket Dimension was going to start. We just logged into the game and saw it's going to start in a couple days. So I guess let's figure this out, right? Let's figure out who the best character options are that are available to us to bring into Pocket Dimension. What we do know is that, or what we can glean based on information that has been shared, is that the characters that you need to bring into Pocket Dimension will have the disciple tag. If we also jump into the website, MSF. Not Marvel Strike Force, but MSF.gg, if you click on the maps tab right here and then click on this drop down and click on Pocket Dimension, you will also see that each individual node does have that disciple tag under there. So we can assume based on that information that you will need characters that have that disciple tag in order to be able to complete that node. If you also hover over this too, you'll see the rewards that you can get from completing each node. You'll also see that there as well. But yeah, so we're going to talk today about the best, what I think are the best character options. We'll break it down into 3 different categories here. What I think are the best options based on the current meta of the game. So based on what you have to do on a day-by-day basis, what makes the most sense. We'll talk about what I think is the most optimal lineup. May not be what you use every day, but what I think is probably the most optimal lineup to be able to complete Pocket Dimension. And then I'll also give you some alternative options. If you don't like the other options that I'm mentioning, I'll also talk about some alternative options for you as well. So let's talk about, let's dive into it, guys. I guess first and foremost, this event, like I said, will start on March 28th. That's going to be Monday night. If you are a newer player, you will need characters to be at a minimum level 65 in order to be able to enter into it. So not just your player level 65, but your characters also at a minimum of level 65 as well in order to be able to enter into that content. If you are doing the later node for the later nodes, like your mission node, your node 9, your node 10, I do think that at least a bare minimum, you want your characters to be at level 65 and NG14 in order for you to be able to in order for you to be able to successfully complete missions 9 and then mission 10. You may also need to put some blue ISOs on those characters as well, but some of you guys already know this information or already have those characters there, so you may not need to worry about it, but I want to cover all my bases here. All right, the event duration is most likely going to be 7 days long. With it being 7 days, just that kind of sucks. I'll tell you why. I think ultimately because Doctor Strange Heartless is a character that does have that disciple tag. Unfortunately, if you didn't spend to get Doctor Strange Heartless, then that won't really help you, right? Because you won't be able to use them in Pocket Dimension. So that's the reason why it sucks. But it just want to just know it's gonna be it's most likely gonna be a 7-day event, and that, you know, that's pretty much basically it. And then there's a 24-hour cooldown on each completion. You can complete Pocket Dimension twice. There is usually a 24-hour cooldown on completion, meaning that after you complete it the first time, you'll have to wait 24 hours again before you can attempt it. Also, this is like Dark Dimension in terms of the fact that wherever your cooldowns end in the previous node is where you're going to pick up on in the next node. And then also for healing, whatever health they're at, that's where they're going to start for the next node. So if you need to do heals, it's going to be Dark Dimension heals that you're going to have to use, or cores in order to heal those characters if you run out of the Dark Dimension heals. All right, ground rules, those are done. All right, let's move on now. Next thing, best characters, I think, based on the current meta in the game right now. So I think the best characters, to me, just based on what you're going to be doing every day in content, are these 4 characters right here. I also should have added Nick Fury, because while he's not necessarily somebody that you're going to use every day, he is a character that you need to use to unlock a legendary. So I do think that he is relevant in terms based on the current meta. But let's talk about these characters. So Morbius and Ghost Rider, I think, are very important because of the Morgan Le Fay Pestilence event, right? So my initial thought on these two, on the Dark Hunter team as a whole, overall, is just, hey, hold off. Let's see whether or not you need them, especially if you've already invested into Web Warriors. You're using that team every single day anyways. You're probably going to be fine with Web Warriors. Well, being that these are 2 characters that you can use in Pocket Dimension now, Pocket Dimension pretty important to be able to get some good rewards. I think it makes sense to invest into these characters, and you can use them later on if you need to for the Pestilence event. I don't think that it's bad to invest into these characters now, because you'll need them in the future. You either will need them for Pestilence event coming, or you're going to probably need them in the future. So why not, right? That just makes the most sense to me. Scarlet Witch, going to be a part of the Darkhold team. Darkhold team is going to be an amazing team. Arena meta, which you're going to do every single day. Yeah. Iceman, Doom Raids, Axemen. That's it. All right. Next, the characters that I think are probably the most optimal in terms of like I think this is the most optimal lineup. I think Morbius, Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Night Nurse, and Ghost Rider are probably going to be the most optimal. You could probably make a case that maybe Ghost Rider is probably not needed, but we'll talk about the reason why I have him here in a second. I think you could probably also even like plug and play Iceman. I think Iceman would be good too, but I like Morbius because of his health steal on the basic. And once again, he's a Dark Hunter character, so you're going to get some added benefits there. Also for the Morgan Le Fay Pestilence event, right? But he has a health steal on his basic. He does a decent amount of damage. Players are really happy with using him right now in Dark Dimension 5. So I do think that he's actually still going to be good in Pocket Dimension as well. Ghost Rider, I think will work really well with him. Ghost Rider helps to boost his focus and also helps to boost his health as well. So Ghost Rider will naturally, just from those little boosts, will help him to stay alive a little bit longer, give it a little bit more of a health pool there. Ghost Rider will also speed him up whenever there is a negative effect that's placed on an enemy character. And with Yo-Yo there, Yo-Yo is going to be throwing out a lot of offense downs, so Ghost Rider will get to speed up Morbius and also get to speed up Ghost Rider at the same time. So I just think that just makes sense to me. The whole picture just makes sense to me. That's the reason why I like Ghost Rider in having Morbius together. Dark Hunters, but then also they kind of help each other out. Morbius with the health steal, really good. Ghost Rider has a big massive drain on his ultimate too, which will help to keep him alive. And then yeah, just a massive debuffer that I really enjoy and think will be fun to play with in Pocket Dimension. Night Nurse I have here, she's really kind of only the true healer that you have available. She's the only true healer that has a disciple tag. So I just feel like Night Nurse becomes a viable option at that point. She heals on her special, she heals with her ultimate. She's a decent health pool. And like I said, just really kind of the only true healer that you have that has a disciple tag. Scarlet Witch does heal, kind of, sort of. It's more of a redistribution of health as opposed to like actually healing. So I don't really consider Scarlet Witch to be a healer per se. So therefore I think you're going to get better healing out of Night Nurse. So that's the reason why I would definitely recommend bringing her in. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And then Yo-Yo and Black Bolt are just a really good tandem in general. So Yo-Yo I think is probably going to be one of your sleeper characters, which is why I have her for your most as a part of the most optimal lineup because of the offense downs. I think the rest of these characters, not the rest of these characters, but Ghost Rider, Morbius in particular, are kind of squishy. So being able to have the offense down to negate some of the damage that you're going to be intaking, I think is going to be really impactful. So therefore I definitely do like Yo-Yo here. Black Bolt is kind of gonna be I think still might be your biggest damage dealer on the team. Super slow though, so Yo-Yo helps to make his impact a little bit, give him a little bit more of an impact here, because she will call for the assist. His basic also will clear, so if he's getting the assist, then he's also going to be clearing buffs. And then he can help with that burp factor as well, right? So if you're not able to finish off a character with Ghost Rider or with Morbius, then at least you have that burp factor there that would help to kind of clean up some characters. Also, Black Bolt in that last node would be really impactful against Ultron because of the disrupt. So yeah, I think for me, I look at this is the most optimal lineup that I would go with. But if you don't want to invest into, let's say, Night Nurse or Yo-Yo or Black Bolt, right? I think Ghost Rider and Morbius just make sense. But if you're not going to invest into these three characters, there are some other options that you do have available to you, and I'll talk about them down here. These aren't great options. These aren't like phenomenal options. This wouldn't be my first choice, right? But we talked about Nick Fury a little bit earlier on because Nick Fury does have that You can use him to unlock a legendary. I like his speed up on turn 1, or the ability to be able to transfer those positive effects. So I do like him for that reason. Black Widow is like a sneaky good character too. Helps with some speed ups, can clear some buffs, you know, can stun, can bleed, right? So helps out with some debuffs there that could benefit Ghost Rider and benefit Morbius as well. Kate Bishop, war defense character, but does have some pretty, she has a buff clear on her basic, and I think a buff clear on her ultimate. She has 2 buff clears, right? She has 2 abilities that can clear buffs. So I like her for that reason. And then he's an alternative option just because I think he can go into your optimal lineup. I just think the problem with Doctor Strange is his cooldowns are really long. Also, I mean, realistically, you're not spending them to get him, then is he really a viable option here for you? That's why I have him sort of as an alternative option. So these are the characters that I think are probably the best to go with here. This, I think, is the most optimal lineup: Morbius, Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Night Nurse, and then also Ghost Rider for reasons. And then if you're looking to just invest based on who the current meta is right now, Scarlet Witch is also a good option. Iceman is a good option, probably because you already have Iceman already built up already. Alternatively, in terms of like another lineup that you probably could use as well, is like Nick Fury, Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Morbius, Iceman. That's also not terrible. With Nick Fury, though, you got to be careful not to use his ultimate, because if you use his ultimate, he will summon a shield security character, which is a protector, which would then negate what Yo-Yo does, being able to throw off and sound on the enemy team. So if you're going to use Nick Fury, I definitely would, and use Yo-Yo together, I definitely recommend just sticking to basic and special overall. But listen, those are my thoughts on the most optimal lineup here. The characters that we have available to us, they're not that great. There were better options for the previous Pocket Dimension. We had Omega Red, not everybody did though, but there was at least Cersei. There were some other options that were good too. Multiple Man. There were some good, decent options there, guys. This one around, I'm a little disappointed with some of the options we have available, but I think we can still make it work just based on who you have to fight in some of these matchups. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. Who are you probably going to be bringing in? Are you probably going to use Scarlet Witch? Probably not a bad option, right? Well, I don't think the nodes are going to be as challenging. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think these are the best optimal options here. But listen, if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Also check out the other links, Twitch, where I stream Marvel Strike Force content on a weekly basis, Discord, join the Discord there as well, Patreon, Amazon coins if you're going to save some money. Here are your Marvel Strike Force in-game purchases, and that's also down below too. But listen, until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. You know what? I might actually like that Black Bolt costume. I was thinking about it this entire video. I'm like, it would have been nice to have looked at this man in a gladiator outfit. Yeah, I like it now.